Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim. Gugabe, how you doing?
Not too bad. Living, quite pleasant. How are we, Tim?
Not bad. I think Bellator is going to be starting in like an hour and a half, but we'll just focus on the card for this weekend. We won't recap last week, but you just want to get right into it?
Yep, I've got some time pressures and Tim's washing venture capitalism.
Let's start. Let's start at the bottom. Best fight odds. Gavin Tucker and Billy Quarantillo. What do you think here?
I think Tucker, I'm surprised he's out to plus 140. I'm a fan of Quarantillo, and I know Tucker gets a lot of shit for losing to, what's his name? He got absolutely dominated by Rick Glenn.
Yep.
Yeah. They have very similar game plans. Like, Quarantillo probably has the cardio edge, but I like Tucker's process a lot. Like, I'm not sure it necessarily takes him to the elite, but Quarantillo can hang out on his back, and I think Tucker starts a bit faster in this one. I don't know, I think there might be some value in Tucker, like even just taking him pre-fight at plus 140 and looking to trade out. Your opinion?
I think it's a classic trading play. Like, if you like Quarantillo, why bet him pre-fight when his way to win is gassing Tucker out, right? So it's kind of like I expect it to be pretty competitive unless if Tucker gasses. But I do favor Quarantillo just because at least we know he won't gas out, right?
Yeah, I can agree with that. But even then, Tucker, I think Tucker's probably going to have solid success in round one and all that. So it's like, plus 140 for a guy who I expect to win round one. Not a bad proposition.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to kind of wait live and kind of see what opportunities present itself, type of thing. Because it's weird. Tucker gassed and kind of looked awful in that Rick Glenn fight. But I know he hasn't fought the best competition in his last fight and his last couple fights. And what's his name? Justin James, who was opened as a favorite against Gabriel Benitez, just to laugh at that. But I feel like Tucker didn't really gas in those fights, but he was kind of able to control the pace. So I don't know what will happen because Quarantillo definitely will fight at his pace. So I think this fight's just a question of does Tucker gas? And so I'd rather just not guess whether or not he does and kind of just watch it unfold and look to bet live.
Yeah, 100%. Good chance you will pick up Quarantillo at evens or even better after like 3-4 minutes. So I can't see Quarantillo just running out and dominating him for minute one. Like, again, it's possible. I think Tucker's getting a bit too much shit for the Glenn fight. Like, I don't mind how Tucker's game's put together.
That fight's weird because I don't know if he got hurt and then he self-destructed. It was really weird because he picked up a pretty hard pace in that fight against James. Like, he really turned it on late. And so I don't know. Like I said, maybe it was because he got hurt. Maybe it was because he didn't control the pace of that Glenn fight. It's sometimes hard to speculate on whether or not someone will gas, right?
Yeah, and also it's like being the hammer versus being the nail sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like, the issue I find with guys like Tucker is because he only really has one objective / game plan, which is coming forward hard. If he gets in trouble, he has to come forward harder, which just creates this self-perpetuating sort of failure loop.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my plan. I feel like it's the clearest. Let's see what happens. Hopefully, if Tucker wins round one, it looks like he's maybe fading, then I'll look for an opportunity. If it's competitive and the line's competitive, then maybe I'll go Quarantillo just because he still might not gas. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But Hooper and Barrett. I haven't looked into this. Like, I was just like, I looked at the line. I was like, I don't fucking remember. Like, I guess Cooper should be a favorite, but I don't really think highly of either guy. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, about the same. Barrett's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the big thing for me. Barrett's is pretty bad in MMA, and Hooper should just kind of throw himself at him. Like, I do understand. I know some people are taking the plus 300 shot. I do understand that. Like, Hooper only has one phase he's good at.
Yeah.
But the thing with Hooper is that because he's so aggressive with his grappling, even if he's ridiculously hittable, he can kind of cover his handicap. He can kind of cover his price. At least he's going to be doing what he does. Like,
Yeah, I'll
Barrett
look
kind
into
of has to either stop him or hurt him badly.
Yeah. Okay, there's no way I would play Hooper at this price, though. It's just like, I don't know. If he can't sub Barrett, I just feel like shit can get interesting, you know? I don't know. This fight's going to be stupid.
I jury rigged a Hooper inside the distance at plus 110 from a bunch of mispriced props, but like that's my play, and I'll probably get hedged off, but like may God have mercy on your soul if you try playing this.
Yeah, it's just I don't really care about this fight. Let's move on to a fight that is probably it's funny, it's probably the most hyped fight on the card, or close up there, but Dern and Jandiroba. What are your thoughts here?
I took a bit of the over early. I just think that Jandiroba can play safe. Like, she survived grappling with some elite talent when she was grappling. I don't like how Dern's game is built as a UFC grappling finisher. Like, the checker jiu-jitsu credentials, like, a lot of her finishes are against lower level black belts and against like very mediocre women's grappling, because I think people don't realize exactly how uneven the talent level is in women's BJJ. Like, you got certain amount of elite girls, but a lot of these girls have these big finishing records because there's just some very mediocre women's BJJ guys, and Darren, a lot of her finishing in jiu-jitsu and all that's based on like D subs, on like D guard subs and footlocks. So I think Jandiroba can survive. I think Jandiroba was value to win, but again, like, probably Jandiroba's decision to be a better spot. But generally, I think there's the over's a good spot originally when it opened near evens. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I've kind of gone like back and forth on some of my thoughts. Like, I've settled on I like goes the distance a lot and the over. That's, in my opinion, one of the better plays on the fight. Because Jandiroba, if she subs Dern, I would be absolutely shocked. And one thing that I kind of, for some reason, I thought Dern just kind of looked awful, or like positionally looked way worse in that fight with Rebos. But Rebos was actually just kind of like, she was just being very safe, but she couldn't pass Dern's guard or anything. And Dern was actually like using offensive guard, and just there was no way Rebus was going to pass the guard. So I don't think neither girl I don't think is going to get a standing knockout. And then I don't even know if Jandiroba will pass Dern's guard. So you're really left with Dern sub. And just because she lands like less than a takedown per minute, or per 15 minutes, Dern. So it's like she might not even be able to get it there if Jandiroba decides to kind of not let her. And I just feel like Jandiroba will probably make the right decisions. And I think Jandiroba will be legitimately hard to sub too. And I don't know, at a goes the distance at even money in a fight where I really think it's just going to be like the main threat's Dern sub. And I don't know, I just don't think Dern can sub her, but don't you think it's just a little overpriced, her sub line?
Yeah, I think, and particularly in no-gi, I just love how Dern's submission game works. I don't necessarily trust it in an MMA context.
Yeah.
Like, just look at the sort of stuff she gets. It's a lot of weird guard stuff, a lot of gi stuff, a lot of footlocks, and it's just stuff that you don't necessarily see in the UFC so much.
A conservative play on this fight that I think will profit is if you want to do something with like goes the distance around, minus 110, minus 120, and then playing Dern sub as like an ARB, at plus 165 to 188, just because I feel like that's really the only way this fight ends. Jandiroba subbing Dern, I'd be seriously shocked. Dern was sub like one time in the last 5 years in jiu-jitsu, and Dern's guard's legit. It's going to just be really hard to pass. So I think you can do that, or if you just want to be less conservative and just go for the over, that's fine too.
Jandiroba's a kicker in the head.
Yeah, I think you tweeted at me. Jandiroba's going to get a toe in the eye knockout of Dern, right?
Yep, hopefully. You got to cheer for Jandiroba. Jandiroba is the sort of sex appeal that the UFC wants headlining pay-per-views.
I legitimately like you and I actually. Yeah. We've even when people didn't like Jandiroba or Dern at certain times, even Dern, we've kind of been behind just because she has she can sub a lot of the talent in women's MMA just because she's actually a legit BJJ girl.
Yeah, like Dern's weird because like there's certain people I would take to beat her fairly consistently, and there's also some elite flyweights. So I'd give Dern quite a good shot against Zhang.
It's weird because Dern can lose to kind of Ashley Yoder, but she can literally like sub a top 5 girl, right? So she has such a wide range, you know.
I mean, I suppose there's a lot of jiu-jitsu guys like this. There's a lot of decent jiu-jitsu people like that. Where it's just like, do they react in the right way? Because like, yeah, there's probably I'd give a Dern a good shot against Rose, Zhang in the top 5.
Yeah. As far as how this fight's going to actually play out, though, I think it just really depends on what Jandiroba wants to do, because I feel like she can dictate where it goes. But I think the people thinking it's going to just be really easy for her to ride out top position, I don't know about that. It's because what's her name, Ribas could really do, she pretty much had 2 options. It was either get out of Dern's guard and kind of just not engage, or be completely chest to chest and really do nothing. And so Ribas wasn't really doing any offense on the mat. It was more so she kind of just stayed safe, and then they went back to the feet and she kind of beat the shit out of her, to where I don't know if Jandiroba will be able to do that for 15 minutes. Do you know do you kind of see what I'm saying here? Like, she could, but it would look weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. But I just think if you like Jandiroba, I don't really have a strong opinion on who's going to win. I just tend to like the over. But if you like Jandiroba, I just think I don't know what it is anymore, but at one point it was like plus 250 her decision line. I think that's better than her like plus 160 line personally, because I just don't think she's going to finish Dern.
You say that, but the flying knee is coming for her.
Yeah, the toenail in the eye is going to happen now.
Look, when Jandiroba knocks Dern cold and cuts a great promo and gets fast tracked to Zhang, I'm going to be talking shit.
Oh wow, Dern's score. I mean, people kind of understand what I'm saying. Dern's scorecard's no actions minus 835.
No, it's minus 300 here.
Oh really?
It's minus 330 here. That's probably value. I don't like that sort of minus 330 value. You never know when someone gets toe in the eye.
Yeah. After all this, Jandiroba is just going to sub Dern. It's going to be hilarious, and then we're all going to look dumb. Torres and Sam Hughes. I taped it. I mean, Hughes doesn't look very good.
I like Sam Hughes' nickname, Sampage. That's a great nickname. But yeah, Torres, pretty functional fighter. Sam Hughes, not a very functional fighter. Torres, good cardio, good grind, good lots of stuff. Like I still rate Torres quite highly. Even she's in this weird spot in the modern strawweight division.
She got underrated, and it was funny because I liked that Brianna Van Buren girl, and I thought about playing her against Torres, but my hunch was Torres was kind of being underrated simply because she fought Andrade, Joanna, Zhang, and Marina in a row, who were like 4 of the best volume strikers in the division. And so I kind of thought she was probably getting undervalued, because if you look at her metrics and just her wins, other than that, she's actually done quite well, you know?
Yeah, like she lost to 3 champions, Marina Rodriguez.
and Marina Rodriguez in a pure striking fight's a fucking nightmare. Like she has other issues, but Marina on the feet against Calvillo, Esparza, pretty much everyone is just beating the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. And even and the Zhang fight wasn't the fucking ass copy. It wasn't a complete domination or anything.
Oh no, she lost clean, but she competed for sure.
Yeah, I felt like she lost clean because of a few sort of big moments went Zhang's way.
Yeah,
I think Sam Hughes probably just get lose. Torres probably just controls her and does Torres things to her.
I was kind of looking into this, but I don't really know how strongly. I think her. Wait, where is it? I thought I was looking at props on this, and I thought I had seen. Yeah, I don't know, but like, I'll look into it a little more. But just looking at pure like wiki capping, I guess Torres doesn't have a lot of finishes, but just the plus 300 on the the levels type of play for inside the distance, I thought could maybe be a thing. So, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I can see that. And also, it's like, 3 days notice or whatever again, she did fight 2 months ago, so you assume Hughes isn't in complete shit shape.
It could just be a thing where like Torres is just kind of winning dominantly, and so like a finish occurs because of something like that. Because she was even kind of beating the hell out of Van Buren, even, remember?
Yeah.
Like, so I could just see just because that is a wide price. It's not like it's even money. It's plus 305. So I thought that just caught my eye. But I was looking, and Torres literally like doesn't finish anyone, even like lower level girls. So I don't know.
She's got one UFC finish, doesn't she? Memory.
I think she subbed Juliana Lima, if I remember. Let me look. I was literally wiki capping this just because it jumped out, and I was looking, and but she's fought like all mostly decent girls, like this is kind of like a Lauren Murphy thing where that was Lauren Murphy's worst matchup or like easiest fight. Who'd she just fought? That like Olympian or whatever. That was going to be her easiest fight in a long time, and I just am seeing similar comparisons here. But yeah, it just jumped out to me because I mean, when you're fighting Van Buren, Rodriguez, Zhang, Joanna, Andrade, Watterson, Lima, she got to finish. Rawlings, Rose, Angela Hill. It's going to be tough to get finishes. But so I just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah, makes sense.
She literally has one finish though in like 20 fights. So it's kind of, I don't know. But yeah, it just kind of jumped out at me. Cub, Swanson, and Pineda. I think you have thoughts on this one. So
I don't have a play per se. I was looking at Swanson, looking for plus 150. It's just like, if Swanson wasn't coming off an ACL and 37 years old, I'd probably be pulling the trigger here. I think Pineda's probably inheriting a bit too much of the Herbert Burns hype train, when it's more like Herbert Burns was just very, very, very bad at MMA, and not Daniel Pineda is some grappling genius. Yeah, I think Swanson's better cardio, better. Even then, like, Swanson against Crone would concern me a bit. He looked a bit. Obviously, Crone gassed him out by just refusing to go away despite absorbing like 100 clean body kicks in one of the great attrition fights of all time. The way Swanson got more tired than Crone, while Swanson was like landing at will with attritional strikes, was just fucking stupid. But yeah, I think there might be some value in Swanson at plus 130. But even then, it's like he's coming off an injury. It's a good chance I'll probably try and pull the trigger after a minute or two of live betting, just so I feel like I can get a feel for what's happening. Like, A, Pineda's success is probably quite front loaded, and B, it'd be nice to see how Swanson's moving. But I just think, like, Pineda, he's good. He's good for what he does. I just don't think he should be a big favourite here. And the market does classically shit on Cub Swanson way too much. Like, if you look at his historical odds, he's been valuing the majority of his fights. And I think the Swanson against grappler stuff is very overblown. But I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I would, my preferred play would be Swanson just in this matchup. I think it's dog or pass. I'm just kind of concerned because I feel like you said, I did not like the way Cub looked again in his last fight. I think, considering he got that type of fight against Crone, I feel like he should have beat the shit out of him a lot more,
We did, just Crone did not go down.
Yeah. I mean, they both just landed a lot on each other. And I don't know. I feel like usually, like, kind of a new fighter who gets like a big win, upset win like that, can usually just get overvalued by the market, So I think that's probably happening here, but it's tough because, like I said, some uncertainties here. Swanson is legitimately aging. I thought he looked I didn't totally like the way he looked in his last fight. So maybe get a feel for it, like you said. But I expect a competitive fight, don't you?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. These guys are both coming off like best of the year wins.
Yeah.
Like, Swanson was plus 150 against Gracie. He probably looked minus 200, and that was kind of an old Swanson who looked minus 200. Like, I think the upside was even higher than that. Pineda was plus 200 against Herbert Burns and looks. He just destroyed. Like, Herbert Burns looked like what, plus 400 against Pineda?
Yeah, we've shit on Herbert Burns for a long time on this show.
Look, my hope here is that Pineda has, like, this is just like a matter where the market is going, like, Herbert Burns is an 8 out of 10. Pineda beating Herbert Burns makes him a 9 out of 10. We'll get priced him accordingly. Rather than realizing that Herbert Burns just fucking sucks.
Yeah, I do think Pineda is actually pretty good, though. Like, but he's probably still being a little overrated here just because of that win, because Burns does suck. But yeah, like, I like Pineda as a fighter. I think he's skilled. Yeah.
He's good. He's like one of these Masvidal kind of characters. Like, he's traveled around the regionals. He's pretty good at doing what he does.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite got the wrestling chops to make his grappling style work consistently in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good wrestler, but it's just one of these things which, like, he's a hard pressure wrestling finisher, which works well against regional competition. But I think if he gets to the next level, if he starts pushing towards ranked competition, he'll just kind of hit a wall.
I just fear playing, like, kind of a returning kind of newer UFC fighter like Pineda against a guy who has historically good metrics, like, I mean, like Swanson had, he lands 4.59 strikes per minute and absorbs 3.65 historically. And he had like pretty much a tit for tat decision with Shane Burgos, and Burgos is tough, and I don't know if I would put Pineda at minus 155 against Burgos. I would just expect probably a split decision. So it's just, you know what I mean? I feel like it's probably just going to be a close fight.
Yeah, my issue is just 37 years old, coming off an ACL injury, and didn't fill me with massive confidence against Crone. Otherwise, I'd be playing him.
Yeah. But he still landed 135 strikes. I know I give him shit for that Gracie fight, but he still landed 135 strikes. It's just kind of Crone ended up being super durable. It was just a weird fight. They kind of just sat in a phone booth.
And also, it's hard to stop somebody landing if they have to know the self-preservation.
Yeah, seriously.
Honestly, it's just the way striking works. It's like if the person is going to come at you and throw strikes, there's not much you can do to stop them landing something.
Yeah. That was a hilarious fight. But moving on, how do you say Junior Dos Santos? But how do you say, is it Cyril Gane? How do you say it?
Cyril, I think. I'm not 100%.
Okay. Sure. So Cyril Gane. I feel like he should be fine. Unless I feel like he's a better technical striker. I trust his durability a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, I took the over early, over 1.5. So I feel like, JDS kind of plays at range. Gane's not that aggressive with punches or anything. Like, I could see it just being a fairly tepid, kicky sort of a thing. Yeah, and like, I'm just going to keep blanket betting Gane overs. It's just my feel of Gane. Like, Gane's good. I think he's great. I just feel like people assume because he's this heavyweight prospect, he's got to be like this insane finisher. But I just don't think he is. Like, even the amount of submissions he's got, I feel like the subs are going to stop coming against a high level of competition, and it's just like he's fun, he's good. He's just like, I just don't think he's that consistent to finisher. So like, I'm going to keep hitting the overs, so they keep giving me over 1.5s and GTDs like plus 200.
Over 1.5 sounds like, I didn't even realize that the over was 1.5. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Because some of his finishes have been more so because his competition kind of sucked, He was hurting Bozer, though, throughout the fight. I will say that. JDS is kind of weird. He almost reminds me of, like, Cerrone. Like, either he'll, like, settle in and go 5 rounds, or he gets knocked out in the first, 6 minutes type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of, like, hit or miss on his durability.
I think it's a matter of whether someone is pressuring him hard or not. When he gets pressured, he tends to get stuck early. When he's not getting pressured, he just kind of has these okay middle distance striking matches. And I could just see this being a fairly boring middle distance kicking match.
Yeah.
I expect Gane to win it.
But. Yeah. He really impressed me versus Bozer when I rewatched it. Just his the overall metrics, and he's just a diverse striker, I feel. You would take him over Ngannou, wouldn't you? Gane?
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah,
like evens.
Yeah.
My issue there is just like the because the power differential. I think Ngannou has a lot bigger margin for error.
Yeah,
like Gane kind of, in my opinion, Gane to beat Ngannou has to put together a 10-minute decision to performance. The Gane needs one moment.
Yeah,
so it could be a very stupid fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Gane should win. I hear you on the over. Like, I get it. I do fear. I do fear a little bit just because I don't know. JDS does have that kind of like Cerrone-esque, I feel, type of chin where it's really hit or miss.
I might pivot to the GTD instead of the over. I'm kind of I got a good price early, so I'm looking at it thinking either I might move to the GTD instead of the over because I feel like it's either over quickly or it's going to just go to a sort of slow tempo.
Yeah.
You know what I want to see? Junior Dos Santos versus Arlovski. How has it not happened?
Have they not fought? Seriously? They've both been in the UFC for like 37 years.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing. It's like Arlovski had like missed that entire generation. Like he also never fought Velasquez.
Yeah, it's because he was in Strikeforce, right, for a bit.
Yeah, I think peak Arlovski would have actually matched up well with Velasquez.
Maybe.
Take that pretty well. And Velasquez is a shitty striker.
It's so funny that Arlovski was getting knocked out by Fedor like 10 years ago. Just and fighting like Tim Sylvia and stuff when I was in grade school. It's crazy. I can't believe he's been around this long and he's still relevant. You know, he's still like a top 10, like 10 to 15 heavyweight. Arlovski.
Yeah, again, there's still Arlovski fights I'd like to watch because I'll get plus 200 Arlovski, plus 500 decision. And I'll just laugh at everybody as they tell me that the new sexy heavyweight is going to be minus 250 against Arlovski. And I'll just be like, no, he's not.
He's ranked number 15. Oh, no. If you look at his last 5 to 6 fights, he's already, he's been, if you just put one unit on him on all his lines, like he's already been profitable. And he kind of got fucked on a couple split decisions too. So there's a chance he could have, he got knocked out by Rosenstruck, but I think he lost like a split decision, 1 or 2, but he went 3-3 in that run. And so he was already super profitable and he was even more value just because the fight versus Harris and Sakai, he shouldn't have been whatever he was,
Sakai was a clear win in my opinion.
Yeah,
Harris was a bad split, but Sakai, he just beat Sakai pretty emphatically in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought he won the fight. The thing is, I thought he won. The Bozer fight was pretty coin flippy, I thought. And I thought he won the Sakai fight more clear than the Bozer one, even though, of course he got the decision against Bozer, but not Sakai.
Yeah, I think there's a better argument for either Bozer or what's his name, the other guy, Linz beating Arlovski than there is for Sakai beating Arlovski.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I
could see that,
Sakai Arlovski is one of the worst 5 decisions in like the last few years, in my opinion. I just do not understand.
It was a bad decision. But I don't know, we're getting off topic. Let's go over to
Go on, JDS. We must see it.
Yeah. Kevin Holland and Jacare. I know, I'm sure this is probably the thing. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are talking about the grappling path, right, for Jacare, and you're probably going to mention it. But my issue is it's going to be, I'm just worried of an OSP last week thing happening. And the reason why I didn't think OSP was a good play was because he doesn't always attempt a takedown. So it's like he might not go to his win condition. And couldn't you just see Jacare going for 1 takedown, 1 or 2 takedowns not getting the sub and then just getting picked apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the issue, right? So, because you could pick Jacare, and then if he loses by not going for takedowns, you can't make the excuse of, oh, I wouldn't have played him had I known he would go with this game plan. But there's like a 50-50 chance he doesn't go for takedowns.
There's a 50-50 chance he doesn't go for takedowns. There's a 50-50 chance that Holland will take him down.
That's true.
So that's to
a 100% chance that it's going to be Jacare sub, right?
Yeah.
No, but you understand my reasoning, right? You can't trust Jacare to optimize his win condition.
I agree, but my view is like I took some Jacare at plus 140 because I was like, oh, I think he's got a good shot at subbing him. I took some sub at plus 500 on openers. Holy shit, it's plus 170 now. Let's come down.
Well,
yeah. If Jacare wins, I assume the sub is going to look live because if Jacare covers his minus 125 price line, he's probably getting takedowns. And if Jacare is on top of Holland for any real period, I think he's going to at least threaten the sub. In my opinion.
I do think Holland's a better submission grappler than people are maybe realizing. Like, even if Souza goes for the takedowns, I could see him getting a sub, but I don't know that for sure, And Jacare does, like, Gastelum even survived him, and I don't know. I feel like Jacare, usually his subs are kind of bursts, like it's like he puts a lot of energy into it, and if he doesn't get it, then he's kind of fucked for the rest of the fight. So I tend to lean Holland just because I don't even know if Souza will go to his win condition. And even if he does, I still don't know if he'll win. So that's why I'm kind of leaning Holland, but the fight's a mess for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. My view is also like against like Gastelum, Jacare did just like essentially almost instantly sub him when he did get a takedown. Like if you'd given me live prices on Jacare to sub Gastelum once he actually had mount, I would probably give you like 80% likelihood. Like, yeah, he did something stupid and went for the fucking barrel off armbar because he's an idiot.
Yeah, that was really dumb. Yeah, but
like even then, he almost got it.
The person who's going to win is whoever's the less dumb in this fight. Which, who the fuck knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking to trade off my plus 130 and all that Jacare because I took it because I saw the line was coming down, but I was like, yeah, they can just tap him here. But I'm just like, I'm not minus 125 confident Jacare. I think anybody can be.
Yeah.
I got sub and sub one. Like, this is a point. This is definitely a fight I'd rather have submission round one than submission just because I feel like A, Jacare's cardio. And B, it's just like, if Jacare can get the takedowns, I think he gets rid of him pretty early. Because, like, also the thing of Holland. Holland's not a bad sub-grappler, but he is very aggressive, and I do think he'll give the openings to Jacare to get a finish. Holland's not just going to sit there and conserve himself.
Yeah.
Like, against GM3, he almost got tapped, like, twice? Because he just keeps going for shit.
Yeah, he's super aggressive and kind of opens himself up.
Where it's like, if he was just willing to just sit under half guard and like just cling on to Jacare, I could see him surviving a takedown. But like, if he's going to be that willing to go for shit, you're going to open up the opportunity Jacare needs.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, yeah, we both know from grappling, it's very hard to sub somebody who just does not want to be subbed.
Yeah.
Like, if the other guy's just willing to lose, the other guy's just willing to lose around, it's like, well, if you're not going to give me anything.
Yeah. I mean, that should honestly be Holland's strategy if he gets taken down. It's just, instead he'll go for an omoplata and get his back taken and
He'll go for a half guard bottom Kimura, almost get it,
then get arm triangled off the fucking Miss Kimura. Yeah, but Jacare clearly has a win condition here. It's just he may not follow it. That's the issue. So I think the fight is a complete shit show because Holland definitely has the advantages on the feet for sure. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, most likely. Holland's solid there, and it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed because I like both these guys, so I'm just like, I don't want either of them to lose.
Yeah, you are a Holland fan. I have noticed that. You always like him.
I mean, I was fighting him early, but he's just fun. How can you not enjoy Holland fights?
Yeah, he's fun. He's skilled too. for sure.
And he's a great kind of B plus everywhere guy. He's the good kind of B everywhere guy because he'll just give the other guy whatever fight they want.
Yeah.
The issue is that Jacare will decide. Jacare will decide he's having a striking match, and Holland will give him the striking match.
Yeah.
In this fight, which is just stupid, but it's what it is.
Yeah. There's some good fights on this card. Fiziev and Moicano. I'll go first here. The way I see it is, I think in the grappling, Moicano has a grappling upside. It's just he doesn't land or attempt a ton of takedowns. And Fiziev, from what we've seen, does seem to at least he kind of has that like city kickboxing, like functional defensive grappling type of thing, where it seems like he just understands how to scramble up and just kind of defend takedowns in general. I mean, and I think he's defended every takedown in the UFC. So I tend to think the fight will play out on the feet, but I do think if someone out-grapples someone, it will be Moicano. I think you'd probably agree there, even though it's probably small upside. And on the feet, I expect it to be a split decision. I think Moicano can land more than Fiziev. It's just Fiziev hits a lot harder. And Moicano, his like leg kicks may not come into play because Fiziev actually knows how to check leg kicks, unlike Cater. But Moicano's striking metrics are better. It's just I'm not too confident that gives him the win. Just like it's an easy volume win because Fiziev, he just hits he hits hard. His strikes seem very impactful, and that's why I always look at fight metric and just the striking metrics. But like I said, you always have to kind of adjust for it because the striking metrics against Alex White were close, but the fight didn't seem close when watching it. You know what I mean? But I think it's kind of a thing. If Fiziev doesn't hurt Moicano, I don't think he justifies his line because if he doesn't hurt Moicano, I think Moicano might win. I don't know. What do you think? I'm kind of like rambling. I expect a competitive fight though.
I'm kind of tempted by Moicano at plus 140.
Yeah.
I don't have a huge opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to think. I don't trust Moicano on a few levels. He's a bit kind of fragile. I know he just does stupid shit occasionally. Like Korean Zombie for Moicano should have been the absolute perfect fight.
Yeah.
Like that was Juwan Adams versus Justin Taffer level of shitting the bed, in my opinion.
Yeah, he shit the bed there. I mean, especially when we've seen the Ortega and Zombie fight. Moicano's so legit when, like, if he puts together a complete fight. I mean, Calvin Kattar's good. Like, we both think Kattar's a pretty solid fighter, and Moicano absolutely obliterated him.
Yeah, it's just it's just like Moicano. Like Ortega put together this dollar store version of what Moicano does. And what? 50,
seriously.
40.
Yeah, I mean, he fucking beat the shit out of. He completely outclassed him.
Yeah, and I think Qatar would have done even more. Like Moicano Korean Zombie was absurdly Moicano favoring, and he just dies in the first exchange.
Yeah,
it was Juwan Adams, and there's not many people. And it's like Moicano was such a smart fighter. How are you that dumb?
It's also a thing. Oh yeah, go on.
He just has this like tactical genius, and then he has a strategic dumb fuckery.
Yeah, it's weird. He's had some inconsistent performances. He's capable of being champion. Honestly, I think he can put together champion-winning performances. And his metrics check out, and he defends strikes at 66%. And Fiziev's been he's only defended strikes at 54. So like I could just see, like if it goes 15 minutes, I think Moicano will outland him. It's just Fiziev does hit hard. Like he has eye-catching shots, Fiziev for sure. But I'm expecting a close fight, honestly. And like I said, I don't think you can count on him getting a ton of grappling going. But if someone does, it would probably be him. So I tend to think he's a side, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to play a fight that I expect a decision. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like kind of my view. I feel like it's competitive on the feet, and Moicano has a massive grappling edge, so plus 140 is probably silly, but I just don't trust Moicano to do so. I just don't trust Moicano not to wade into the pocket and get killed in a minute.
Yeah. Moicano will be winning for a round, then he'll just get knocked out. That's pretty much what's going to happen.
That's a tradition.
God, here's another fucking wacky fight where I'm just like, I feel like the dog is a side in this one too, but I'm just getting cold feet on some of these. Oliveira and Ferguson. Don't you think Oliveira's a side here, but you're scared? I guess that's how you are.
I played him small. I got on Oliveira small at plus 150.
He's looked so good lately, I feel.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, I was joking about the other day. I was like, if he just took the last 7 fights of Oliveira's career, and like, I don't know, Roosevelt Roberts had the exact same performances, and was just like a prospect instead of being Charles Oliveira, he would be like fucking minus 300 here.
Yeah.
If just a fresh prospect did what Charles Oliveira has done in his last few fights.
If we hadn't seen the Paul Felder fight or anything before that, yeah, you're pretty much right.
Just like Charles Oliveira, just like, he's fucking good. The issue is he's a glass cannon in pretty much every single phase, and he's mentally weak. And it's just like at any point, just like, is Charles Oliveira going to get jabbed stiffly by Tony Ferguson? Ferguson's going to make a mean face of him, and Oliveira just get curled up in the ball.
It's weird. He's kind of beaten a few guys just who were good favorable matchups for him, but I don't know, like the Kevin Lee fight and the David Tamer fight, I thought he looked legitimately good in. So it's also a fight where this is very rare. Like usually in fights, I feel like you can kind of eliminate a certain finish or like decision for someone at a pretty low clip. Like you can eliminate Derek Lewis winning by decision against Curtis Blades, right? But in this, like all 6 outcomes, a KO, sub, or decision for either guy's in play, don't you think? Like you could see either guy winning by knockout, sub, or decision here, couldn't you? Which makes the fight harder. That makes the fight harder to predict, in my opinion, because you kind of have to like allocate percentages to each one, and if you're just off by like 5 to 7% on a few, it's like you can really fuck this up. So it's a tough fight, but I feel like Oliveira's a side personally.
I like Oliveira because I feel like he'll start harder. He'll start a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my view is my plus 150 Oliveira. A good chance to be able to get off it during round 1 if I didn't really need to. And like, if Ferguson just is taking, and Ferguson has a card with more downside in terms of like what's he look like after Gage. It's an incredible fight. Like, I'm actually kind of sad one of them has to lose this.
Yeah, I like both these guys a lot. But like I said, I do think the line's probably off here. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like to play all narrative-y. Like I'm pretty anti that, but I still just Ferguson at this line, especially after that beating, it's like, that was hard to watch. I rewatched that fight. I mean, he took some massive shots by Gaethje.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always tricky, that sort of stuff, because like you see people come off beatings like that and be forever changed, and you ever see other people who just come off them and they're fine.
Yeah, like RDA kind of looked like Prime himself in his last fight, and he's kind of lost. Yeah, I wouldn't say like beatings, but he's had a lot of wear and tear, I'd say.
This one was a beating.
What's up?
This one was a beating.
Oh, that was bad.
But yeah, everything else was okay.
Yeah, the other ones he kind of just lost clean. Where Usman, I thought changed his life, but like I don't know. Then he looked fine again in numerous fights, like Kevin Lee and Felder. He kind of looked like regular RDA.
Yeah. It's one of life's mysteries, honestly. It just feels like there's so many moving parts behind.
Sorry, I think we lost connection. But like I said, I think it's kind of all 6 outcomes could happen here. I think in fights that are kind of volatile like this, it's better to err on the side of the dog. I think it's a clear dog or pass.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think we're gonna get a very good fight out of this one. Also, the way fucking Oliveira just fucking sunned Jamila. I just rewatched that the other day, and it's like, holy shit. Like, not many people have ever just like run through Jim Miller like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
he picked him up like a child. I was like, how fucking big is Charles Oliveira how strong is Charles Oliveira?
Yeah. He's legit. He's dangerous too.
Let's just look at Jim Miller's records. It's like Jim Miller went to a competitive decision with Poirier, went to a competitive decision with he's lost some. Like Trinaldo was like a very emphatic loss, but like it's just nobody's like just destroyed Jim Miller like that.
Because I think all 6 things are in play, I'm gonna like just mention each line. Oliveira TKO plus 900 came out to my eye. I don't know. I feel like his TKO is always undervalued. He hits harder than people realize, I think.
Yeah, he does, but the issue is always like he'll go for a sub just to fuck you.
True.
Like him against Tamer, like the KO was like fucking plus 1500, and the referee was just like, "Oh, this is okay. Tamer's only 80% dead."
Ferguson's hittable as shit, though. He gets hit more than 4 strikes, per minute. So I'm just saying it's plus 900. Ferguson TKO plus 275. I wouldn't play. I could see him getting a TKO, like I said, but I wouldn't play that. Oliveira sub plus 335. Like I feel like all these other ones are lined reasonable. Plus 420. Ferguson sub.
Holly Dex plus 525.
I kind of like Oliveira decision plus 525. Yeah. Just I feel like all of them should be kind of closely distributed, and those are the ones that really are not. Ferguson decision plus 315. It's like a lot of those props seem reasonable, but I do think Oliveira TKO plus 900 and decision plus 525 probably jump out just because they're kind of the outliers when I think they're reasonable to happen. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the fight. It's gonna be a fun one for sure. There's some great fights on this card.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Moving on to the main event. Figueiredo and Moreno. I'll just talk for you because I know exactly what you're gonna say. Gugabe thinks Figueiredo is overrated as fuck, and he is playing Moreno. And he's going to be really mad when Figueiredo is losing and lands a knockout. And yeah, pretty much it.
Actually, I'm only playing Moreno small. I think Moreno's weird because like I think Perez was better built to beat Figueiredo, but Perez probably had less of a margin for error. Like Moreno kind of has the chin to just make some stupid mistakes. Well, whilst I feel like Perez only got like 1 or 2 errors before he was fucked.
See, I think Moreno. I'm kind of all right. So, just a warning to you and all listeners. I think I was like 0 for 6 on Figueiredo fights, literally, and I just realized I was missing all of them, and I just picked Figueiredo to win his last 2 fights because I was fucking up so much. So I picked kind of the opposite of what I was thinking, and he won. But I still thought Perez was the correct side from a betting perspective. But I was like, I just don't play Figueiredo fights anymore. They're fucking retarded. But I do feel like Moreno, I think, matches up better than all the other people, just because I feel like you just have to be durable and you have to just be submission defense savvy. And I feel like Moreno's that, And it's like, I don't trust. Figueiredo's a crazy good finisher, and it's really hard to call finishes, so he might get a finish again. But I just don't think he's going to finish Moreno. Like, I really think Moreno's tough as fuck, and I think he's a better grappler than Figueiredo. Like, he can even get back takes and body triangles and things like that. Like, he's gotten a lot of people's back. We've seen Figueiredo get his back take before and held there against who was it, Formiga. And I don't think he's just going to guillotine Moreno. I think Moreno's a good grappler. He even was out grappling. I picked him in an upset against Formiga Moreno, and he got that win. And it was because I was impressed by his grappling. And I just, because I am picking Moreno to survive, I think he's the side. That's what I think. And I trust his durability a lot more than Benavidez and Perez personally. So that's kind of my thoughts, but it's really hard. It's weird because Moreno, from a round winning perspective, I don't think is as good as maybe some of the other guys Figueiredo has fought lately. But he's still he's kind of become a decent round winner. He landed like 90 strikes against KKF, which I thought was impressive. And Figueiredo doesn't land strikes, but his power kind of makes up for it. So I don't know. Do you kind of feel where I'm coming from right now? I just feel like Moreno is going to be tough to finish, which makes him value.
Yeah, but my view is just like, in a perfect world, I think Perez had more upside to just like do shit that Figueiredo doesn't like dealing with.
Yeah,
well, I think Moreno kind of has to go through 7 minutes of hell. Like it's possibly comes. I think it's possibly comes out the other side and he's fine. But I think there's a good chance. Like I've got like 0.575 units on Moreno and Moreno KO at the moment. I'm going to try adding live. I feel like Moreno's going to get into a stupid. Like Moreno's going to walk into where Figueiredo is good and then have to outlast him.
I think Moreno's going to try to brawl with him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's going to go to where Figueiredo excels, and he's going to have to try and win by Homer Simpsoning him within that sort of restriction. And it's possible. Like against Pantoja, Figueiredo's defense was gone by round 3.
Moreno, I feel like, is an underrated firefighter. That sounds hilarious. Sounds like I'm calling him like fucking Stipe a firefighter. I mean, like in a firefight, I think he's kind of underrated. He's tough as fuck. And just the way he kind of bullied KKF down the stretch, and he outlanded him in volume too. Like he was consistently hurting him too. And yeah, like, so I know what you mean. I think this is going to get super interesting. And I don't recommend to play on Deiveson. But like I said, Deiveson is one of the hardest fighters to cap in the UFC because he's super athletic and some people just can't deal with his athleticism or power. And he literally finishes not only with knockouts, but also with submissions, which makes the fights even harder to predict. Because I don't give a fuck who you are. Calling guillotines is really hard to do. It just is. And calling knockouts, I think generally it's harder to do than calling round winning, you know? So it makes him just really hard to cap. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just feel like this is a wide line. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just tricky because I just feel like I can get a better live price from Moreno for now. I just feel like you're better off live betting Moreno. But again, like Figueiredo's not bulletproof in the swang match. I feel like people act like he's got this like A+++ chin, and I don't think he does. Like he has been hurt.
Yeah, I think both guys are going to hurt each other. I think if this fight plays out for a few rounds, I think it could be fight of the year. Don't you? Like this could,
possibly.
Yeah, this could be awesome. And not only from just a firefight perspective, I think the grappling exchanges could be fun too. Like both guys can scramble their asses off. Moreno's really impressed me. I used to think he fucking sucked, and
he did fucking suck.
He did suck. No, he objectively did, but I'll be the first to admit whenever a fighter really improves, and he's really improved.
Yeah, agreed. It's just weird because he left the UFC for a year and he comes back and it's just a lot better fighter, and he had great cardio suddenly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's fucking bizarre. I mean, he probably did some PEDs, but I don't give a fuck. Let them all juice. It makes the fights more exciting. I don't give a fuck. They're already getting head trauma. Who cares? But yeah.
The Tim and Gugabe podcast official position is if he dies, he dies.
I mean, in a serious context, I hope these guys have good lives after fighting. I'm just kind of meathead talking from an entertainment perspective because it's fun to do. But
when Tim was young, he had to get up at 3 a.m., walk both ways, 10 miles to wrestling in the snow, and they just headbutted each other for a fucking solid 2 hours. You know what that made Tim? Some sort of backwards hat wearing elf, but nonetheless.
Oh man. I don't have a backwards hat on right now, but anyway, I don't know. Overall, on the card, I think there's just a lot of good underdogs for the most part. Like, there's not like a one specific fight I really like, but I don't know. I just feel like Moicano, Oliveira, Moreno, Swanson, Jandiroba. I don't know. Like, I feel like a couple of those will hit, and you can maybe get your money back. Who knows? What do you think?
Yeah, again, like also quickly the Moreno thing. I just feel like plus 280. I got plus 280, and like even if they just end up swinging dicks for 5 minutes, I don't think that Moreno should be plus 280 in the dick swinging competition.
Yeah.
And if Moreno survives the dick swinging phase, I think he pulls ahead. So it's just like I can't see how Figueiredo covers minus 300 that coherently when he's got his defense and volume issues.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of what Figueiredo is.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm happy taking shots at plus 300 against Figueiredo. It's like I just don't see much upside for Figueiredo to ever like hindsight cover that kind of line.
Yeah.
Just because like he's going to rely on big moments. He's probably going to be finish reliant, picking over a 5-rounder. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, you're preaching to the choir at this point. Like, I think Moreno's aside, but again, I do think Figueiredo fights are tough to call, but I just can't imagine minus 300. I can't imagine you're that wrong if you play Moreno. But I don't know. I'm really tired right now, so I'm gonna roll. But yeah, I do think it's kind of like a dog or pass type of card though, for the most part. And I do think the next week has a lot of good spots. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah. One unfortunate thing is Spivak falling off the card today.
Your boy, yeah.
Hopefully Spivak gets rebooked against Aspinall on his plus 900.
Yeah.
The UFC likes making that Spivak Aspinall fight. The UFC just seems to like making it a lot. So hopefully they do it again, and hopefully Spivak is even wider.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like that's the spot. I want Spivak plus 400 against Aspinall. But Jake Collier, who fought Gian Vellante, beats Aspinall.
He could. I still haven't seen Aspinall fight for more than like 2 minutes. I don't know how good he is. So.
That's all you're getting. It's heavyweight.
True. All right. Well, I'm gonna roll though. Have a good one, man.
Yep. Thanks, mate. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thanks, Les.